Hello, class. This is Mr. Offer. We've moved outside. The one thing you'll notice as we go through our YouTube videos is that I do like to move around. I don't like to keep y'all always inside in my office. That gets kind of boring and dull. So on a pretty spring day, I figured we would come out here and have lecture. You probably will hear the birds, and if you look really carefully out there, I got a bunch of animals, and my pool is fairly clean right now, so I thought that was a good backdrop. Okay, guys, so we're in History 1301. This is section 2 of the 8-week course. Now, in this section, we're going to have 4 parts, and we're going to talk about the American Indian. Now, one of the things I want to let you know, you often see me turn my head. Guys, I'm referring to the PowerPoint. You have the PowerPoint on Canvas, so it's very important you go through that PowerPoint. These lectures are actually designed to be 30 to 45 minute lectures, so we're cutting them way down. Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about the American Indian. You know, the American Indian is a group, depending on who teaches you a class in History 1301 or American 101 or whatever. Different instructors start this course at different points. I would say the majority likes to start it at the time that the Europeans in Columbus. Now, when I say Europeans, I always like to I use that term and I paint it with a very broad brush. I say the Europeans. 9 times out of 10, I'm referring to the Spanish, the French, and the English. So anyway, but for this course, we will start at the American Indians. So we know that the Indians, when they first came here, the name that Columbus gave them, because he was in the Indies, he called them Indians. Now, Indians have probably been here, or the Indian nation, or the Native Americans, have been here from 4,000 to 15,000 years ago, 40,000 to 15,000 years ago. Now, something I'm going to mention there, guys, I refer to the word as Indians, although I was corrected one time. A student told me, well, we like to refer to them as Native Americans. So I don't want to offend anybody. I still use the term Indian. I don't think there was anything wrong with that. But that's just the term that I use. I'm an old school history guy. So, by 1492, guys, there was an estimated 1 million Indians in North Mexico. There were 3 million in Mexico, 6 million in South America. One of the things I always like to pull up to my class to tell you guys is that basically when the Europeans get here, this continent is already established by an entire civilization. That's the American Indian, Native American, however you want to classify them. Guys, and that's very important because when we say that Columbus discovered America or someone discovered or the Vikings discovered, they just were simply the first Europeans to document what they had found. There were civilizations. There were millions of people that lived on this continent, and they had lived here for thousands of years before the Europeans ever got here. So I always like to make that very distinction. I always use the example, depending on where you're watching this video at, we'll use Carthage, I guess. If you had a group of people that came in and they came into Carthage and they pulled into the square, and all of a sudden they said, "Look, I've discovered Carthage." That's my dogs. And you would say, "Well, you didn't discover Carthage. Carthage has been here." And that would be the same analogy as the Europeans coming in and saying, "Look, I've discovered this new land." So there were already a civilization that was here. Now, this will conclude part 1, section 2 of the American Indian. When we come back, we're going to talk about the classification by groups. We're going to begin to discuss each group of the Indians. Okay, and that will be part 2 of section 2. I always get confused on this. So, guys, we'll see you then. And hopefully my dogs won't be barking no more.